Lovely. Thank you. Anyone watching, thank you for watching. You know Alicia by now, I'm sure. Probably about the fifth time you've been on with me. And Alicia's in Canada. You've just recently moved house.
I have, yes.
And
And it's
yeah,
snowing here in Canada again.
you're joking.
I'm not. No, it is snowing outside my window as I speak.
You were sat outside talking to me 2 days ago.
Certainly was, yeah.
Oh my goodness, because we've had the most beautiful weather here for about, well, I won't even say, but about a week, just over perhaps. Well, I mean, it's been pretty good for a while now. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
So yes, very lucky. And so Alicia is going to be with me for Conscious Cafe on Monday night. And so for two reasons we're doing this talk, to talk about what we're talking about in Conscious Cafe and to sort of say about Conscious Cafe as well. So I do Inspirations Positive Living Group, Jackie White, yeah, Positive Living Group. But more recently, in about the last year, I've been running the Conscious Cafe. And so now each month, the second Monday of each month, I'm going to be doing an evening and have a guest speaker. And so this Monday coming is Alicia. And we talked about, privately, we talked about how important our shadow selves are and understanding our shadow selves, which links in with our inner child and self-love. So we're going to do a talk about that. But then with Conscious Cafe, what I love about that is that everybody gets a voice. And so you'll hear us talk for about 20 minutes, I guess, around shadow self, inner child and self-love, and how they all interlink. And then we'll go into breakout rooms for a while and just have a voice of our own with a small group. It's a safe space, and then we can come back and talk about what we gained from that. So what would you say, just to give an idea, Alicia, of what shadow self, why is it so important about finding out your shadow self?
Well, since we started talking about this specifically, we've been planning this for a while. It turns out there's always a theme with my work. So I do a lot of one-on-one sessions, but I also do group work. And so ever since you and I have been speaking about the shadow self, preparing for this, this is the theme that has come in. And when you and I first started to speak, actually, when you and I first met, I think you had even said that it was there was a lot of still, I mean, not to say that the light and love and forgiveness and all the beautiful things are not important, they are, but I think it was me that sort of said, well, we still do, we still, that's Neil. I
You,
just don't want to knock over my crystals.
oh no,
Nielsen, don't touch the crystals.
no.
These are very valuable to me. Nielsen, okay, you can say hello. He's my shadow right now.
Perfect timing.
Perfect, Jackie. Okay, we have too much fun. Okay, so as long as it doesn't knock down my crystals, I'm good. So what's been interesting is so I've always talked about, since I had my awakening and been moving through all of this, I've actually spent a lot of time learning about the dark energy, and I have come to see that it's actually a critical part of healing ourselves, is not just resisting any darkness, okay? So in ourselves, or that are projected at us or in others, or even, dark beings, because they are here. And I think you and I were speaking the other day about the fact that, if anything, they are the greatest catalyst to our growth.
Yeah, we did say that.
Our own shadow,
Mhm.
and the shadows in others, and the shadow in our collective, and the shadows in these dark entities are all here for a reason. We're living in this polarized world, and we're here to shift it. We're here to change it. And you and I were also saying the other day that literally we seem to be in a shadow work collectively, a phase, a shadow work phase collectively.
I believe that, I do, yes. And
Mm.
not only that, what's coming to mind for me is the 26,000 years that we've been in this, that finished in December 21st, 2012. And then we've got this 20-year period of going to the golden era. And like when that was done before, that was done in 1,000, we talked about this the other night, 1,500 years it took. And this time, so when Tim Wilde and I did the weekend at the start of March, he said, I reckon that they were out drinking the night they decided we're going to do this in 20 years when it took 1,500 years last time. And it was like having a shot and saying, well, let's make it 200 years, let's make it. And they got it to 20 years. But
Right?
yeah, so, but breaking that cycle of 26,000 years where it's not really been about community and looking after each other and caring for each other, wanting the best for each other, it's actually been against each other. And at the moment, there's a lot that's putting us against each other again. You know, tariffs, ridiculous. It's just a distraction, you know, so to realize that and stay within yourself
Right, right. It's
because
also
there's a shadow thing. Yeah.
also interesting to make the comparison. I also think of what the shadow work is collectively, and then understanding as well that you're in the same cycle as the collective. So being able to understand what's happening out here to say, okay, maybe I need to look at this a different way, or why is this happening for us at the time?
For us.
Um, why is and you know, basically what a shadow is light is shone and something, you know, and it can create a shadow. Okay, so the light is being projected in for us to see the shadow that's being created by the light. So now we can look at what's happening outside of us, and instead of being in fear, instead we can say, okay, what is this shadow trying to show me? Good, bad, or otherwise, what is this shadow trying to show me? And you can do that outside with the collective, and you can do that and understand that it's also happening within you. It's happening at the same time. So actually subscribing to the ups and downs of the process of the shadow work for the collective is really not going to do you any service. And what we really need to focus on is what is coming up within you that may be triggered by the collective shadow work.
Absolutely. So it's what we've been conditioned to suppress it within ourselves.
Yes.
That is, and we're so conditioned we don't even. I mean, me, you know, there's still things that we absolutely so conditioned, and it. So we're talking about bringing that to the light for our growth, for our evolution. Um, honestly, it's a fascinating subject. And that's where the inner child comes in as well, because when we were the inner child, born, you know, unfiltered, pure, and then we start taking on all the beliefs of our parents, of our schools, of our, and so it's remembering what we were, who we are authentically before all of that conditioning, to then, how do we not, the next generation, how do we not condition them in the way we were conditioned? So much around this, isn't there, Alicia?
There is, and it's not an easy time if you don't understand this. And I think you and I have talked many times, but we're not, uh, we don't get a hall pass to this just because we are, you know, sort of quote unquote, you know, spiritual teachers or healers or leaders. We're going through it at the same time
Oh,
as everybody
absolutely.
else,
Yeah.
which
We
I
have
think is
to.
actually helping us to serve that much better because I'm literally moving through my own shadow work. And at the same time, literally within a day, I might be transmuting and crying and healing. And a couple hours later, I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay. And now I can use, I can use that exactly what's just happened in my world or what I witnessed, in one of my clients or in a group. And it's just, it's you're just very quickly transmuting it and learning and then able to shift your own perception of, what you would have believed that situation to be before. And now you understand it happened for you, so you could dissolve it.
Yes. And do you think then, is it simplistic enough to say when you're triggered on something, that is showing you your shadow side?
100%.
Okay.
We do have to simplify it. And I
Mm.
say, and I've been saying for a long time, your triggers are your catalyst every single time. So if you're triggered by something, an emotion within yourself, if you're triggered by a physical illness or sickness, if you're triggered, if you're feeling a whole bunch of emotions and you're even triggered by that, if you're triggered by what's going on in the outside world, if you're triggered by a relationship, work, basically what you can ask yourself at this point is, what is this trigger trying to show me?
Yes.
And most of us don't, I mean, we probably weren't taught to do the work. Not probably, we weren't taught to
Mm.
do the work. What we did before is we said, no, 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 no. I don't want to look at that again. No,
Yes.
that doesn't feel good. That does not feel good. So I'm going to go around
Yes.
or I'm going to avoid. I'm going to stay back here
Mm.
because it's much more comfortable back here. I do not want to walk through that fire again because I know what happens.
Yes. And isn't it so easy? And you see that still happen a lot where you can look at someone else and say it's their fault.
Oh, yes.
No, because then you don't have to look at your shadow.
Mm-hmm. And I
And
think that's the invitation right now that I think you and I are both moving through this, but we're also saying if you can actually try just as an exercise right now for the next, I don't know, week,
mhm,
every single thing that happens to you, every single thing that someone says that rubs you the wrong way or makes you angry, or irritates you, every single thing that happens, not even to you in your environment, maybe a confrontation at work between two people. Why am I witnessing that?
mhm,
Why is this person projecting so much anger towards me?
mhm,
Why is this argument happening? If you simply just take the time and stop, instead of going into reaction, slow it down and ask, pause, why is this happening for me?
yes, for me.
Yeah. And then it's kind of like unwinding it a bit as we've been doing.
Mhm,
I think
yeah.
you and I have been holding each other account in the last couple of weeks, practicing this. Okay, Jackie, why is this happening for you?
Absolutely. Um, so I've posted on my timeline and probably on Inspirations things that appeal to me. And sometimes it can be, I guess, controversial, but something I think is not controversial, but in some people's eyes it will be. And there starts a conversation that I don't get embroiled in. Like, so as an example, there's a picture of Trump saying about let's make it for the armed forces, let's do something for them as opposed to Pride Day. So
Mm.
so of course that could cause controversy because of course it's both important.
And it could cause a huge wave of trigger.
Yeah, so why did I even post that? And then I had to look at myself and think, why did I post that? And then do I take it down or do I get involved in the conversation? Because I totally agree, both need, can be. But those poor men went to war. The men that sent them to war didn't go to war. They sat in the offices saying, you go to war. So they went to war, and we need to honor those men. So there was that to it. But I do know, obviously, with pride, there's a lot of people that have a real difficult time in life with that choice. So yeah, both needs to be. And so there's been the conversation. Then I think, do I delete the post? And then I'm in the conflict of it. So actually, that just shows me a shadow, a trigger.
Yes.
But I didn't get involved with that, but I started it.
And then who's the catalyst?
Yes,
Mr. T.
yes,
So, interesting. We're in a collective global shadow period, and there seems to be a certain human and maybe others that are intentionally being the catalyst.
yes. It's like he's stepping in the puddle to bring the mud to the surface.
Well,
So
somebody's got
for the collective shadow, yeah.
That's right. And guess what it's doing? It's triggering a heck of a lot more people than just you and your audience in that one
Oh,
post.
absolutely, absolutely. But isn't it good to look at that for myself as well? Why,
Yes.
why did I feel to share that?
Yes. Was it
Mm.
your, yeah, why did you, did you feel like you needed to prove something or,
Oh, did I? I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's drip, drip, drip on because I live with someone that would be on the total opposite of that.
Okay. And you know what? You're not the only one. This
Yeah.
is, this is another, actually, this is a really big topic, actually, what we're dealing with right now. And it feels very much like the 2020
Yes.
period. We're dealing with a lot of conflicting, it's either this or that, it's black or white, and polarized, right? So again, shine the light on that.
Yes.
And up comes the shadow, up comes the puddle that needs to be looked at. It's not actually about the what, the argument, the post, it's actually not about that.
No.
It's about observing what do we need to look at here?
And that is the thing. It has been an observation for me. I've just observed the situation that might be a post is called, but like you say, so many posts. And I wouldn't post, I see many, many posts that I could post and I don't. Anyway, all is well. Yes, so that is a conversation we'll be having. I'm going to share the screen and just show what we've so on Facebook, I've got the event. Have I? Let's
So
just
while you're doing that, I'm just gonna actually, a lot of people ask me when I talk about this, what is actually shadow work?
brilliant. Yeah.
And so the easiest explanation of it, now that you've kind of heard our precursor conversation, is shadow work is about identifying what is low vibration, okay, that is a shadow, that is not the light, that needs to be transmuted and alchemized out. It's that simple. So back to our title for this event, it's not just one thing. Shadow work includes listening to your inner child. Shadow work includes you being shown where you're not showing yourself love. And when you're not creating proper boundaries. I mean, shadow work is sort of like the blanket term for evolution,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the path to
Yes.
evolution. And if we can kind of demystify it a little bit and make it really easy to understand, and hopefully we're doing that now,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it kind of takes the pressure out of it. It's not something you gotta, okay, I'm rolling up my sleeve, I'm gonna go home and do some shadow work, right? Because it's especially now since we're doing this process in 20 years, not thousands of years, you know.
Exactly. And did anything come up for you in the move? Because you just done a house move. Did stuff come up in moving?
Oh, Jackie.
Oh yeah. I mean, silly to
I've
even
been
ask.
I have been through 6 months, so I don't even think I've dipped my head above the shadow for 6 months.
Yeah.
Little glimpses here and there. I'm like, okay, I'm heading above the surface here, but yeah, no, everything came up,
Yeah.
and
For
change,
your growth.
right? And change is the ultimate
Yes.
catalyst, you
Yes.
know, to growth, but also to bringing it all up.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is such a massive, they say there's certain things that are the biggest things in your life, and moving house is one of them for sure.
Oh, and believe me, I was like to my guides, really? Now? Really?
But look where you've landed. I mean, you showed me a picture that, near the water, near the trees, it really does look amazing.
Well, and I think it's important to say, I'll just summarize this by saying, um, I literally went through the exercise of walking through the fire
Mhm.
instead of going back here and just going, no, I'm okay for a while, or skirting around it or deflecting it. I knew that I had this deep calling to move forward in, my path, and I had this deep calling after 22 years of living in the Niagara region, in Niagara Falls specifically, that it was time. It was time for me. Now, the struggles were many. I do have children, and they are older children, but as children do, they get very attached to the way things are, and they want consistency, and they want their parents to always kind of be, that is what children do, right? I did the
Yeah,
same with my parents.
of course.
Yes. So, there was a lot of avoiding. Everything else felt so aligned and so good, but this big sort of motherhood, stronghold, because it's so much of who I am, and they're so important to me. um, but it was about understanding where my soul was calling me, and the fact that I needed to make change, and that I couldn't be there anymore. It wasn't the right vibration for me anymore. It wasn't. I needed to be closer to my mother and father and my family, and so that was the ultimate fire to walk through.
Wow.
And then letting go of, oh gosh, I mean, when you move house, you purge, you have to go through all the memory boxes that you don't want to bring with you. And I mean, the triggers, I
Yeah.
mean, I have no words for the amount of triggers, that sort of came up, and that I, instead of avoiding, had to walk through.
Yes.
And I had to ask multiple times a day, why is this coming up for me? Why am I crying right now?
Mm.
Sometimes I couldn't even tell you why I was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, shadow work is not easy, and again, instead of calling it shadow work, just call it evolution. Like, what do I need to do to evolve?
And that's what we were talking about the other day. It's so important. We are evolving. And in fact, I will go back to this, because this is what we've said on the Facebook thing. Conscious Cafe online event. We are evolving at a rate of knots. Some of us aware, some not, but we all are. This is a conversation we don't have every day. Looking at our shadow side and what triggers us will help us move forward a greater inner standing and being present for others. When you start understanding the emotional ups and downs you experience, even though they seem to come from nowhere, you take the step toward healing and growth. This is exactly what you've been saying. What if everything's happening right now is actually working for you, guiding you toward your highest potential? If you're feeling overwhelmed or ready to take charge of your growth, no, you're not alone, and you're certainly not going crazy. You're awakening to the best version of yourself. For this evening, we'll be looking at beginning to work with shadow work, including our inner child, meditation, cord cutting, and much more. So I know if you've watched Alicia before, she's brilliant at, cutting cords and helping us move forward, clearing so much from ourselves. And, something happened for me today. We were having a conversation, or yesterday actually, we were having a conversation about years ago. We were in Southampton, and my mum, we saw a footballer, and my lot of fanatical about football, and so saw this footballer, and I said it was Gareth Bale, and James said no, it's not Gareth Bale. And I said, well, she ran after him and got him to sign a birthday card for his dad. And I knew where the birthday card was. So I went to the cupboard, the cabinet that I've not looked in for years. Well, obviously I've looked because the raffle tickets are in there and different things, easy to hand, but things I've not looked in there for. So I took the whole lot out, and my God, I got our wedding invitations, acceptances when my dad passed away, all the letters that were sent to me. Um, cool. Talk about memories, and the amount of photo, because I've got photos everywhere, and everyone knows I love photos. But crikey, I asked my sister to come in tonight. I mean, so yeah, lots to look at there. And unexpectedly, because I only wanted this card. I found the card almost straight away, but I carried on taking everything out. And that's another thing, clutter clearing. And so you've just been through all that.
Oh, the ultimate.
Oh,
Yes. 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 And having to let go of, because we tend to hold on to the things, well, we all do, I think. And then going through this exercise, because my partner was very insistent that we were not going to bring a lot of this with us. And he was right.
he
He was
was right.
right.
Yes.
Um, because that sort of death, and it's not a bad term to say that, with a death comes a rebirth and a growth, right? So with any sort of transition and death of an old, so that you can rebirth the new, you have to let the things go. It doesn't mean you let go of your photos and images and that sort of thing, but man, did I have boxes of children's clothes and
Oh,
paraphernalia and awards for my past self as a speaker and marketer. I mean, oh gosh, I had so many things. And but like you going into your cupboard, having it in front of you
yes.
forces you then to move
So,
through.
yes.
Yeah, to move
And
through.
then decide, do I want to keep those memories actually? Because no one else, when anything happens to me, no one else is going to want them. It won't mean anything to them. And I was in tears reading all what the letters about when my dad went, and so I think, do I need to bring that up again? I don't know, but oh gosh,
Right?
that would be difficult to let go.
Yeah. And I have to say I went through waves because I moved 5 years ago and I purged so many things that round. But this round, it was a whole other level. And I went through that exercise, exactly what you just said. Do I need to hold on to this? How is this serving me now?
Yeah.
How is this? And I don't mean just the children's stuff. I just mean, article cuttings from,
Yes.
all the
Yeah.
things, right? How is this serving me to hold on to this?
That's another yeah, because like even when I do a talk about Ho'oponopono, I am repeating what I've talked about before. I'm not moving forward in that, am I?
Oh, right, exactly.
Even though, I mean, it's great for people that don't know it, but I've talked about it so often now. Um, so how do I move forward from that? What's the next level? What's the next step? To high vibration, it's all right to keep saying about, we got to raise our vibration and do what brings us joy. Well, talking about Ho'oponopono does bring me joy. I guess different things comes up within that didn't come up before. I don't know, but there's got to be a way to evolve even
There
from
is,
that.
there is. And you know what
Yeah.
I feel like it is? I feel like we are presented at many times in our journeys, different things to, I mean, a lot of people when they're like just sort of expanding their consciousness or waking up or going through an evolutionary process, you have people, who, I mean, I was one. I mean, I was all over. I have so many books from that, those early times. And then there was all the crystals and I was pouring myself into that knowledge. And, I mean, this is all part of our journey, all the modalities that I kind of picked up along the way or learned or downloaded. I mean, all these things, but they're all part of my evolution. I'm
Yeah.
not letting, just like I'm not letting those pictures go of my, children when they were 1 and 2, that's not going to go away. That's not going to ever leave. Um, but it's time to sort of clear out anything that may be, not creating joy in my life, right? And something that might need to be just sort of permanently closed, right? For my overall vibration to rise and for me to evolve into the next level. It doesn't mean I won't pull from, you know, the the past, or pull from, what has gotten
Well,
me here.
absolutely. Yes. Yes. And when you say about crystals, so just that crystal, which is a aqua, it's got the gold in it, aqua, oh, I've forgotten what it's called. There's got gold, it's very expensive. That,
Oh, okay.
see it? Aqua
I can't remember the name of the.
aura, aqua
Oh,
aura.
yeah. Yes, yes.
And so Tim would say that there's enough crystal in that to hold every memory I ever need, just that. And yet I've got so many crystals here. So, why do we need all these crystals?
Well, this is what's come up too, and I'll tell you, I can tell you. So I've had these pieces, and what happens with me is, because I've integrated all of these things that I've learned, but when I need a crystal now, the way that it comes into my mind's eye, or I understand, or I see it, or actually my eye goes to it. So I keep them all around me. However, when I don't have my crystals around me, I will still see, my rose quartz wand if I need rose quartz frequency.
Yes.
I will still see, my citrine tower if I need the citrine. So it's almost as if the crystals themselves are the tools that
So yeah, that's
we, we,
quantum.
the frequencies in us, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, all of this has kind of been very interesting in this process of like, letting go of attachments to
Thing.
stuff, things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. So the notes I made for us for Monday, the hidden parts of us that hold repressed emotions, fears, and aspects we've been conditioned to suppress. Facing our shadow brings deeper awareness and healing. Our inner child, the pure, unfiltered essence of who we were before the world shaped us. Healing our inner child helps release emotional wounds and brings more joy, creativity, and authenticity into our lives. And then self-love, true self-love, isn't about positive affirmations. It's about embracing every part of us, even the aspects we struggle with, integrating our shadow and nurturing our inner child allows us to step into our true self-acceptance and empowerment.
Mm.
So that's what we're going to be talking about on Monday. And, we'll have a conversation, as I say, and then we'll go into breakout rooms. Everyone will get a voice if you want one, and you don't have to. And then come back together and we'll just have a conversation again. It's just lovely. I mean, that is what I love about Conscious Cafe. Is that we do all get a voice. Obviously, I've brought that into inspirations now as well, if we do that. But Conscious Cafe is like a world. There's people all around the world that run the Conscious Cafe groups, and Alicia might even be one of them soon.
Yes, I have been thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, no pressure, because after a house move, you need to think about it. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'm thrilled. What time do we start on?
Oh, so it's 7 p.m. for UK time.
Yeah, so that would be 2 o'clock, I believe.
To, yeah,
Yeah, two
in
o'clock
Canada.
Eastern Standard. Yeah, for those that are in the Eastern Standard time zone. So some of my folks hopefully will be joining us too.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just £7 a ticket, and yeah, look forward. Hope you can join us. Look forward to seeing you there, and it will be informative, I would hope, and you will learn something from it.
Yes, and we'll very likely be moving through healing as we're learning,
Well,
and
that's what Alicia's so amazingly good at, looking at what's stuck. And obviously, where you're in the Zoom room with us, you've got the opportunity to ask Alicia anything as well. So yeah,
yeah.
really looking forward to it.
And here's a little invitation, I guess, whether or not you're going to come to the event or not. Here's a little invitation for you, perhaps maybe for the next couple of days, to be very aware of what these situations in your life, whether they're, the cupboard and unpacking what's in it, or an argument, or an emotion that you're feeling, or a situation at work. Or even a simple, walking the dog and having somebody sort of ignore you or be rude at you or rude to you, take a pause, try the exercise, take a pause and ask, why is this happening for me?
Mhm.
And really take the time and, maybe meditate on it, journal about it. What emotions did it bring up? What memories or things that did it trigger? And ask yourself, so what is it that I am being, what is it that I need to let go of? What is it that I need to transmute? What do I need to learn from this? Why did this happen for me?
Yes, perfect. For us, not to us.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you, Alicia. And I look forward to our evening together on Monday.
Me too, Jackie. Always such a pleasure. So much
Thank
love.
you, anyone watching tonight, or yeah, whenever you watch this. Lots of love.